Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Centre has empowered Chief of Army Staff to call personnel of Territorial Army. Corps of BRS Conventions concluded at Geneva. 3 Jan Suraksha social security schemes complete 10 years. India's sovereign credit rating upgraded to BBB with stable outlook by Morningstar DBRS. Chinese scientists created first Pangenome of Asian rice. Amid ongoing tensions along the India-Pakistan border, the central government has bolstered India's defence preparedness by authorizing the Chief of Army Staff to mobilize the Territorial Army as per Rule 33 of the Territorial Army Rule 1948. This rule allows the central government to authorize such action when support from the Territorial Army is needed. But what exactly is the Territorial Army? The Territorial Army is a part of the regular army, but with a difference. Unlike full-time soldiers, Territorial Army members are civilians who take time out from their regular jobs to train and serve the country when needed. They are popularly known as Terriers. Serving as the second line of defense, the Territorial Army's primary responsibilities include relieving the regular army from static duties, assisting civil administration during natural calamities, and maintaining essential services in critical situations. It also provides units for the regular army when required. And who can join? Eligibility includes Indian citizenship, graduation from a recognized university, and being gainfully employed, among other criteria. Currently, the Territorial Army has a strength of about 50,000 personnel across 65 units. The Territorial Army has also played a significant role in earlier wars, including the 1962, 1965 and 1971 wars, as well as operations like OP Pavan in Sri Lanka and OP Rakshak in Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. Let's take a quick look at its evolution. It all began in 1917 with the Indian Defence Force Act, which even saw leaders like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose joining the University Corps. Then came the Indian Territorial Force Bill in 1920. Post-independence, the Territorial Army Act was passed in 1948 and the force was formally inaugurated on October 9, 1949 by C. Rajagopalachari, a day now celebrated as Territorial Army Day. A major global environmental event has just wrapped up in Geneva. The conferences of the parties or COPs to the Basel, Rotterdam and Stockholm Conventions, collectively known as the BRS COPs, have officially concluded. This year's theme: Make Visible the Invisible, Sound Management of Chemicals and Wastes. So, what are the BRS COPs all about? Held every 2 years, these conferences aim to advance global action on hazardous chemicals and waste management. And yes, India is a party to all 3 conventions. Let's now take a quick look at each of them. First, the Basel Convention on Control of Transboundary Movements of Hazardous Waste and Their Disposal, adopted in 1989 in Switzerland and came into force in 1992. It focuses on reducing hazardous waste generation and ensuring its environmentally sound management. It also sets up a regulatory system for cross-border waste transfers while restricting movements that do not align with environmental principles. Next, the Rotterdam Convention on Prior Informed Consent Procedure for Certain Hazardous Chemicals and Pesticides in International Trade, adopted in 1998 in the Netherlands and enforced from 2004. This one promotes shared responsibility and cooperation in the international trade of hazardous chemicals and pesticides, all to protect human health and the environment. And finally, the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants or POPs, adopted in 2001 in Sweden and enforced since 2004. It's a global treaty aimed at protecting human health and the environment from POPs. It works to eliminate dangerous POPs, also called the Dirty Dozen, support safer alternatives and target additional POPs for global action. From chemicals to conventions, Geneva just reminded the world why visibility in waste and chemical management is critical for a sustainable future. A powerful milestone in India's social security journey. three flagship Jan Suraksha schemes have completed 10 years, marking a decade of shielding citizens from life's uncertainties and promoting long-term financial resilience. These three schemes, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana or PMJJBY, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana or PMSBY, and the Atal Pension Yojana or APY have been instrumental in broadening the insurance and pension landscape. Let's start with PMSBY. It provides accidental death or disability insurance of up to 2 lakh rupees. Open to individuals aged 18 to 70 years, the scheme charges a modest 20 rupees per annum. Enrollment is simple, through bank or post office accounts with an auto-debit facility. The benefit? Well, 2 lakh rupees in case of death or total disability. It is administered by multiple agencies. Moving to PMJJBY. This scheme offers a life insurance cover of 2 lakh rupees for death due to any reason for citizens aged 18 to 50 years. It comes at an annual premium of 436 rupees, also enrolled via bank or post office accounts with auto debit. The Life Insurance Corporation or LIC or other approved life insurers administer this scheme. And then Atal Pension Yojana or APY, a critical pillar for the unorganized sector. It provides a guaranteed monthly pension ranging from 1,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees. Individuals aged 18 to 40 years are eligible. Contributions can be made monthly, quarterly or half-yearly with enrollment again through bank or post office accounts. But about the benefit structure, after the age of 60, the subscriber receives a pension, followed by the spouse, and then the corpus goes to the nominee. If the subscriber passes away before turning 60, the spouse can choose to continue the contributions. This scheme is administered by the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority or PFRDA under the NPS architecture. A decade on, these Jan Suraksha schemes continue to stand as a safety net, quietly but powerfully guarding India's future, one life at a time. A major boost for India's economic standing on the global stage. India's sovereign credit rating has just been upgraded to BBB with a stable outlook by Morningstar DBRS, up from BBB low. The agency cited structural reforms, infrastructure investments, and fiscal consolidation as the key reason behind this upgrade. Let's look at the key findings of the report. It highlights strong growth prospects for India. A BBB rating denotes adequate credit quality, meaning India is seen as having the capacity to meet the financial obligations, though some vulnerabilities still exist. Another major strength, India's macroeconomic framework. The report points to a well-regulated financial system, a credible inflation targeting regime, and a flexible exchange rate as factors that enhance the economy's resilience. But what exactly is a sovereign credit rating? It's an assessment of a country's creditworthiness, essentially the level of risk involved in lending to that country. It applies to all bonds issued by the government, and countries are broadly rated as either investment grade or speculative grade, with the latter projected to have a higher likelihood of default on borrowings. The most influential agencies in this space? Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch Ratings. However, the system is not without criticism. There are several issues with credit rating agencies. First, there's a heavy reliance on qualitative indicators. The methods often depend on the opinions of a small group of experts, leading to subjective judgments and even bandwagon effects. Second, there's a lack of transparency. These are private agencies, lacking independent funding, and their work can affect institutional quality as measured by the World Bank's worldwide governance indicators. And third, there's a bias against developing nations. As pointed out in the Economic Survey 2020-21, these agencies often overlook critical metrics like GDP growth rate, inflation, and general government debt. So, while India celebrates the upgrade, the global credit rating game still faces questions on fairness and transparency. Next, we turn to a major breakthrough in agricultural science, straight from China. Chinese scientists have created the first ever pangenome of Asian rice. They achieved this by stitching together key parts of genomes from 144 varieties, both wild and cultivated, of rice from across Asia. This remarkable effort used PEC bio high fidelity or hi-fi sequencing technology. Now, let's talk about what they discovered. The scientists supported the hypothesis that all Asian cultivated rice originated evolutionarily from a wild variety called Orthard-A. To clarify, Asian cultivated rice or Oryza sativa L was domesticated from its wild progenitor O. rufipogon, and Orthard-A is a variant of O. rufipogon. So, what exactly is a pangenome? It's a collection of genome sequences from many individuals of the same species. A genome represents the complete set of genetic information in an organism. It is a kind of reference genome. Pangenome has the common genes as well as maps out the unique genes found in the individual varieties, while reference genomes generally confine themselves in identifying the characteristic genes that make up a species. To create this, scientists used hi-fi sequencing technology, a type of single-molecule real-time or SMRT sequencing. This technique provides incredible single-molecule read accuracy across long reads. It's a kind of long-read sequencing method of genome sequencing. Long-read sequencing is a DNA sequencing approach that enables the sequencing of much longer DNA fragments than traditional short-read sequencing methods. Now, on to its applications. In agriculture, the pangenome can help introduce new traits for disease tolerance as well as resilience in crops against climate shocks. Also provides useful wild resources for developing superior and more productive food grain varieties. In precision medicine, especially in humans, it helps in identifying population-specific genetics markers for diseases, similar to the efforts of the Human Pangenome Project. In today's Personality in News, we turn our attention to Maharana Pratap, as the Prime Minister pays heartfelt tributes on his Jayanti, a symbol of unwavering courage and pride. Born in 1540 at Kumbhalgarh Fort to Jayavantabai and Uday Singh II, Maharana Pratap was a legendary Rajput warrior and a king of Mewar, Rajasthan. Known for his indomitable spirit, he refused to bow to the Mughals during the reign of Akbar, sparking the Battle of Haldi Ghati in 1576, where the Mughal forces were led by Asif Khan first and Man Singh. He was succeeded by Maharana Amar Singh first, but it is his bravery, compassion and leadership that continues to inspire generations. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The External Affairs Minister attended the Europe Day celebration in New Delhi that marked the 75th anniversary of the Schuman Declaration. Schuman Declaration proposed the creation of European coal and steel community where members would pool their coal and steel production. India has raised concerns over the efficacy of IMF programs such as Extended Fund Facility or EFF, Resilience and Sustainability Facility or RSF to Pakistan. EFF's objective is to provide assistance to countries experiencing serious payment imbalances. Global Methane Tracker 2025 has been released by the International Energy Agency, according to which methane, a greenhouse gas, is responsible for around 30% of the rise in global temperatures since the Industrial Revolution. India participated in the 20th session of the United Nations Forum on Forest, held in New York, reaffirming its commitment to the United Nations Strategic Plan for Forest 2017 to 2030. United Nations Forum on Forest was established by UN Economic and Social Council of the United Nations Resolution 2000/35 in October 2000. Recent expert committee report on Vembanad Lake Rejuvenation Project highlighted that Vembanad Lake's surface area has shrunk by 27% between 1917 and 1990. Vembanad Lake is largest brackish, humid tropical wetland ecosystem on the southwest coast of India in Kerala. Startup Servam AI launches Bulbul V2 text-to-speech model. Bulbul V2 supports 11 Indian languages. The voices generated by the model are designed to sound natural and authentic without sounding robotic or rehearsed. Army's air defense units deployed a range of advanced weaponry to counter Pakistani drone attacks, including L-70 anti-aircraft guns, Zu-23mm systems and Shilka systems. Shilka systems is a self-propelled radar-guided anti-aircraft weapon system mounted on a tracked chassis. Phase H, a deep learning algorithm described in the Lancet Digital Health, can help doctors make informed decisions about treatment plans, especially for cancer patients. Phase H can be used as a biomarker in cancer care to quantify a patient's biological age and help a doctor make decisions about treatments. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.